Welcome to the video. My name is Reed Sassenberg and I'm the founder of Married Ambition. And in this video, we're talking about how I help men prevent divorce. This is part 10, developing emotional independence or becoming emotionally self-sufficient. Emotional independence, okay? One of the biggest turning points for men during reconciliation. This is the key. You need to get out of her frame, stop being reactive to her responses, her reactions, and start leading yourself emotionally. This is absolutely critical to becoming the man who can save his marriage. Most men in a marriage crisis become emotionally consumed by the relationship. Their thoughts, their emotions, their mood, their confidence, and identity all become attached to one single thing: their wife's behavior. Does she validate me? And does she reassure me? If she's warm, the guy feels okay. If she's distant, they will spiral emotionally. So over time, the relationship becomes emotionally suffocating for her because the man slowly loses his emotional center. That is not love. That is codependency. That is a need. That is not a want. You have to get to the place in your mind where you want her and you don't need her. Because if you don't, you're going to be emotionally dependent on her responses. And this is the definition of codependency. And there are levels of codependency which are extremely dangerous. So you need to detach out of her frame and start building your own. You need to work on extreme ownership, outcome independence, and outcome acceptance, which means that you're okay with outcomes. You're okay if the marriage was to end. You will survive. The sun will rise tomorrow. It's not something you want, but it's something that you can deal with, something that you can work through, something that you'll be okay with. Once you can get to that position, you can stop being so emotionally reactive. So why does this matter? Your wife cannot become your entire emotional regulation system. That creates enormous emotional pressure for her. It's an inversion of polarity. She needs you to be her emotional rock. The more emotion that you put on her as a wife, the more pressure she will feel, the more emotional pressure she will feel, and the more she will disengage because the relationship starts feeling difficult, feels heavy, and the emotional safety will get destroyed. Many clients I work with unknowingly handed over complete emotional control to their wives and their sovereignty and their internal state dependent on her, completely dependent on her. So if she's happy, I'm happy. If she's sad, I'm sad. If she's upset, I'm upset. This is the opposite to emotional leadership. What you need to become is emotionally independent and emotionally detached from her moods, from her state, from her behavior or reactions in the relationship. This is what creates emotional safety. This is what creates polarity. This is what builds the attraction and respect in the relationship. Why does that happen? Because emotionally independent men can lead the relationship emotionally for the woman. He can tolerate uncertainty without collapsing. They can handle discomfort without emotionally chasing. They remain grounded under stress. That grounded energy feels calm instead of emotionally heavy for her. That calmness makes her want to be around you. That's what rebuilds the relationship, that ability to remain grounded under stress. So women emotionally relax around men who can emotionally lead themselves. And this is the very definition of emotional leadership in a relationship. You impact the environment. You do not let the environment impact you negatively in an emotional way. You choose your responses and you do not become reactive. What do we need to stop doing to create this environment of safety, to create this environment of connection, to create this environment of calm? She's not going to be calm. She's checked out emotionally. She's not happy. She's very disenchanted with the relationship. She feels hopeless about the relationship. She has zero tolerance for the relationship. So what ground zero for you is to stop making your wife responsible for your emotional state. Stop obsessively monitoring the relationship every day. Stop allowing yourself to rise and fall based on her mood. Stop neglecting your mission, your fatherhood, your job, what's important to you. Stop neglecting those things in an attempt to save the relationship and putting her on a pedestal and doing everything you can. She's going to feel more pressure. It's going to push her away. You need to give her space the correct way. Because most guys completely abandon themselves during a marriage crisis. Their routines disappear, their health declines, their discipline weakens, their purpose disappears. All emotional energy becomes consumed by fear and relationship anxiety. You cannot allow yourself to fall into this pit of victimhood and fear. You must battle every single day. Every single day you have to wake up with intention and follow through with action towards the outcome of becoming my best version, irrespective of her response. Intention every morning and reassessment every night. Did I do what I was saying I was going to do? Yes or no? That's the battle. It's you versus you. And fixing the problems in the relationship that's got you to this point. Taking on that ownership. Focusing on that process of repairing that. And being consistent with your actions. You need to stop making her responsible for your emotional stability. So how do we implement this? How do we do this? You have to start by rebuilding your own emotional center. Building routine, training physically, reconnecting with your goals, strengthen your friendships, healthy masculine support. Start developing your emotional awareness outside of the relationship itself. Learn how to emotionally self-soothe yourself. Self-soothing emotionally. Emotional self-sufficiency. Instead of seeking emotional reassurance externally. Now, the goal is not to become emotionally distant, cold, or detached. The goal is to become emotionally stable because you're okay with outcomes. When your emotional well-being no longer fully depends on your wife's behavior or responses or confirmation of the relationship continuing or ending, okay, the relationship starts feeling less emotionally pressurizing for her. Remove the pressure. Do the work on yourself emotionally in private. Exert and express the emotions physically. Get it out of your body. And look underneath that agitation, that anger. What's coming up for you? Shame, fear, guilt. You got to have a look at inside that bucket of rocks there. And you have to start reframing things and understanding how have I got to this position. My subconscious mind has been controlling the scene for years with my reactivity, with my triggers, with my emotional insecurities. They're all causing me to become emotional. So let's have a look at that. Let's fix that. And in doing that, you all of a sudden create this environment that's safe, that's easy, that's light, that she wants to connect with. And then emotional safety finally has space to return into the relationship, provided that you're consistent. So the key points here in the recap: emotional dependence creates pressure and destroys attraction. Codependency, neediness, begging, pleading, seeking validation all the time, reassurance, constant talks about the relationship. It's all pressure. It's because you're emotionally dependent on her for your own safety. A man cannot become emotionally dependent on a woman. It's a very dangerous place to be for a man. Because your wife, she cannot be responsible for regulating your emotional state. That's your responsibility. Emotionally independent men, or emotionally self-sufficient men, men with frame, men with emotional frame, they stay grounded during uncertainty and stress. Genuinely. Stop obsessing over the relationship and seeking constant reassurance. Stop neglecting your health, your routines, your goals, your finances, your personal growth, your health. Rebuild your emotional center. You have to do deep emotional work, and if you want help with that, I have a community of currently 30 guys in the program, all doing these things on a daily basis through what's called the Daily Habit Builder. You have to become emotionally self-sufficient. And then you can really start influencing the environment. So emotional independence means your mood, your confidence, and your self-worth are no longer controlled by your wife's responses, reactions, or behavior, or lack of validation or reassurance. Once you can become emotionally independent, that's when the foundation of safety can start rebuilding. From that point forward, emotional safety is put as the foundation. From there, she starts trusting you a little bit more. She starts opening up more. Then she starts connecting with you more because she's opening up and she's trusting you. And then the attraction, respect, and admiration can build from that point. And we move towards reconciliation. But you have a lot of work to do on yourself emotionally to get to that point. So if you want help in doing that, book a free one-on-one call with me below in the description of this video. On the call, we'll discuss exactly what you need to do, if I can help you, and the next step. So I look forward to that call with you. Good luck in your situation, and I'll speak to you soon.